Hello and welcome to 3 days, 3 keys to be calm during these uncertain and scary times. So glad you're here. It's going to be a fun 3 days training. This is actually day 1 repeated. Unfortunately, I did it yesterday and then deleted it last night. So here we go. If you are watching on the replay, be sure to post your comments. Let us know who's here and where you're from. Then comment on the questions that Heather, my dear virtual assistant, will be posting. Stay engaged. We'll be asking questions, so answer them. Post your own questions. Comment on some other people's if you have any comments. We're always glad to hear them. This will be shared into the Array of Wellness Facebook group. I encourage you to join that because we are a community of women, usually 50 and over, who are connected through an importance of wellness in our lives. We know how vital it is to have that goal of taking care of ourselves, putting our health as a priority in order to stay connected to ourselves, to our loved ones. Be sure to join that if you haven't already. So you can just click on the Visit Group button. I think it's right on the business page where we are now. Okay, here we are in the middle of a pandemic for months. We just have to pay attention to what's coming up. Honor all of the emotions, the good, the bad. It's all going to happen. If we can be true to that, it allows us the space and the generosity to ourselves to be able to face what's coming up tomorrow. Just know that it's going to happen. Know that there are people here in Array of Wellness Facebook group who are kindred spirits who would love to help work through whatever's coming up for you. So day 1 today is take care of your health and the wellness of your aging loved one. Whether that person lives with you, you are connected, your partner, spouse, whether it's your aging sibling who might be living with you, an aging parent, and whether they're here or in an assisted living facility, in the hospital, or far away. It's so important to create those engagements and those connections that allow us to help each other out. Today, day 2, was build the brain strength to help in your wellness maintenance. So check out that recording. It is in the Array of Wellness Facebook group. It's wonderful, lots of tips and tools, strategies to use to make our brains stronger. Tomorrow, day 3, will be creating a wellness plan using some of these tools to maintain our brain strength in the upcoming months and years so that we can live our full, meaningful, purpose-filled life. As I said, stay engaged because that's how you qualify for prizes. We'll be giving away 3 prizes, 1 every day, either a Be Feisty and Calm checklist that I can send to you, or you can have a Be Feisty and Calm breakthrough session with me. It's a call, free, 30 minutes, one-on-one. We can talk about how the pandemic is for you, what's coming up, what's in the way, right? We all want to be healthy, coming out on the other side. What's standing in the way? How to get over that, right? How to climb over that wall. Ways to do that. Tools, strategies, protocols that we can put into place to help you. That call is valued at $97, so be sure to stay engaged so that you can qualify for it. The grand prize is $500 off my 9-month Up-Level Your Strength course. So this is also online. I'll be sending information about that. We can talk about that during the call if that sounds like something that you are interested in. So it's 9 months of working on your wellness, working on your strength, on your memory, on your diet, how to stay calm. We'll get started with an engaging question. Number 1, how many of you struggle with keeping the balls in the air as you juggle your health and the health of your aging loved one? How many of you struggle as you juggle all these balls? It's something that's on my pandemic to-do list, is learning how to juggle with juggling balls. I haven't done it yet. But how many of you are juggling so many things in the air to stay healthy, to stay well, yourself, to prioritize that, as well as someone else, someone that you're offering care to? Just let us know. Let's see what you're going through, right? How many issues might be coming up that are common to other people? Let us know. Why am I here? Brief background that wellness has been a huge priority throughout my life. My sister would say that I got the gym gene, because I used to love to go to the gym. I would get up at 4:30, 4:45 in the morning to get to a 6 o'clock class, workout, aerobics, spinning, loved spinning classes, to go swimming. I would love it. I'd get in the pool, finding myself swimming maybe a little bit faster because there was somebody next to me who we've been talking and just chatting about strokes or how long we're going to be in the pool today. It gave me encouragement to push myself maybe a little further, to get on the treadmill, talking to the person next to me, just getting engaged, making that community. And I realized these are my peeps. The thing that we had in common was our health. We all valued that. You want to eat well before you go to the gym, after you go to the gym, because you're coming back to the gym, and it's hard to exercise when you have heavy food in your stomach. It's hard to sleep when you have heavy food in your stomach. So you want to sleep well, so you don't eat things that might take a long time to digest. Loved the gym, found that was my passion. So be careful where your passions can lead. I love spinning, so I became a spinning instructor. Loved yoga, now I'm a yoga teacher. Found the profound and subtle effects of Reiki to be so beneficial to me, became a Reiki master. These are opportunities that I found to enhance my well-being. It allowed me to work, full-time, drive hour and a half back and forth to work, go to the gym before, go to work, and then have clients, yoga and Reiki afterwards. It was a full life, and I just loved what I was doing and loved my passions. Finding that this is something that everyone needs, especially as we age. It brings a calmer mind, better nutrition, a body that can move every day. As we age, it becomes more important. I choose to work with women 50 and over because that's who I am, and I know how much benefit it brings to me, and it could bring to others as well. There are some amazing statistics, and I'm a little bit of a science geek, that 1 in 3 Americans are over the age of 65. That's a lot of us. We are now called the silver tsunami. People are recognizing that we are a force to be reckoned with. We need to bring all of those goodness ideas about keeping ourselves healthy and wise into that aging population. And that's why I started Array Wellness Coaching. To work with women 50 and over to have less pain, more energy, so that they can live an engaged, purpose-filled life. One of my phrases now is stay feisty. We want to be feisty together, and we'll explore some ideas on how to do that as we go through today. I'm going to start with a story about my mom. When she was 80, she died when she was 90. 10 years before she died, she fell while she was gardening. She loved to garden. Guess that's where I got it. They took her to the hospital, found that she had broken her hip. Through the anesthesia, the effects of the anesthesia, she had swapped days and nights. And looking at research about surgery, post-surgery, this can be a common occurrence. So just be aware of that. If you're looking into surgery, this was major for an 80-year-old woman. And she was never able to walk by herself after that. She had a walker, but then she was unsteady and said that she just wanted to use a wheelchair. Changed her life dramatically. 2 years, a year before she fell, she had been delivering Meals on Wheels to the elderly. She was very vibrant and involved in community, always volunteering. Just a great role model. One day, I was living in Vermont. She was living in Pittsburgh, where I grew up. My sister and 2 brothers were there. So they helped her with her daily routine. She was living in an assisted living facility. And I would come in, bring the kids, my husband, and we would descend on everyone. Lots of friends still there, and had lots of people to see and things to do. We promised to take her out for lunch. We get there at 11:30. We promised to be there at 11. The result of this incident, which I'll talk about, made me realize how important these dates are for our aging elders. They talk about it with their friends, with the people who work there. It's a big deal for them. It's what they look forward to. So we walk in half hour late, and my mom says to me, "I almost put my eye out looking for you." It wasn't mean. She just cut to the quick, and I'll never forget it. Right? She just had this way of being very forthright, getting to the point with a very few words. Succinct was one of the words that I would use for her. If you are going to make a date with one of your aging loved ones, I highly encourage you to be as prompt as you can. It's critical to them, and it can make the difference for the first half hour. They're trying to get over being upset and a little cranky. So be prompt. That's just one thing that we can do for the relationship, for helping them to stay engaged, and for us to create a loving relationship. Question number 2. Do you have an aging loved one that you are giving care to? And I have 3 questions about that if you do. Who are they? How old are they? And where do they live? Do you have an aging loved one? Who are they? How old? Where do they live? I don't have an aging loved one living with me. Wells and I are the same age, very healthy, so lucky. My dad was 50 when I was born and 40. My mom was 40, so my parents died early. But I do remember how important it is to do what you say and say what you do, especially with an older person. So let's talk about these, who are they, what are their ages, and where do they live, if you have anybody that's around. We're going to talk about how to help the body when it isn't working the way it used to, right? Everything was working perfectly, just fine, and all of a sudden you sort of notice, oh, maybe I need glasses, my stomach's not doing what it used to. We'll just talk a little bit about that. We'll increase our mindful movement with an activity that you can do for 5 minutes or 15 minutes. So you can decide. You can adjust it to what you need. The final thing that I'd like to talk about is how to be a health correspondent for our loved one. To be a journalist is to just write down the facts, what's happening every day. To be a correspondent, you're going to be in communication with other people. We'll talk about how to be the best one for anybody in your family. Big question, why are we here? Been reading Kessel Vanderkook's book, The Body Keeps the Score. He claims our task at hand is to build connection with ourselves and with others. When we do that, we can create a meaningful life, one that's filled with activities that have engagement, to do things that we love, and in an environment of understanding. Well, that can be a lot to ask, especially with an aging loved one, to do it with understanding. We're not as old as they are. They've been going through the process years ahead of us sometimes. So it might be hard for us to understand exactly why it is that they sleep the way they do, or they eat as much as they do, or take as long as they do to walk down the hall. But to create that understanding, to build that up, and to express it makes all the difference, right? They know if we're getting frustrated. So all of these ideas about building understanding and connection help us to be calm. And that's the overarching idea behind these 3 days training, is how to be calm. If we're calm, our aging loved ones are more likely to be calm. 2 other ideas is to create more love in the world and reduce suffering. I love that. Create more love in the world. When you're walking down the street, just have that thought in your mind. Even if you don't do anything, express anything, that image is in your heart, is in your mind. And to reduce suffering. We have no idea what people are going through when we walk by them on the street. I used to work in a big hospital and would walk by families walking down the hall. You have no idea what they're going through. So I would just send out love, send out understanding. And on some level, they get it. So we're here to build connection, create love, and reduce suffering. What are we? there's a professor of, he's a geriatrician. Every year starts out his students with an exercise. Medical students, asks them to write down descriptive words for someone who is old. So they just write things down, raise their hand, and what comes up? What you can imagine: bent over, wrinkled, white hair, slow moving, bald, cranky, fragile. When the professor asked his students to describe a person who is an elder, write down your words, raise your hand. The things that came up were wise, powerful, engaged, had money, and were experienced. So I take it on as part of my charge is to change the perception of elderly people, and I consider myself one, I'm 61 years old, to go from old to an elder. I have stepped into the place of the elder. It wasn't easy to get here. Not everybody gets here, so it's a place of honor. And I encourage you to join me in that. The silver tsunami is growing. 1 in 3 of us are over 65. And a quote from another professor is that we're all elders in training, from day 1 to day 110 years old. We're all elders in training. Right? So what we do, the younger generations are watching. Right? So I take it very seriously to be a role model for my kids, for anyone who's younger than I am, even someone who's older. So when we're doing our exercises, our aging loved one will be watching, and maybe they're inspired to do some sort of movement that will help them to be more engaged so that their lives are fuller and your lives are as well. What should we do? There's a man, his name was Avicenna. He was a polymath, considered the father of early modern medicine. He wrote a treatise called The Canon of Medicine 1,000 years ago, talking all about health, how to stay well. And he had 4 things that he talked about: nutrition, exercise, sleep, and the management of constipation. So we'll talk about the 3, sleep, nutrition, and exercise, because those are the things that we can focus on today as well as they did 1,000 years ago. So we'll find new ways with an old idea. I've been listening to Brene Brown's podcast called Unlocking Us. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. It's wonderful. Gems in every single episode. She asks the question, are we engaged? How do we create engagement? Are we paying attention? What are we focusing on? We talk about how not to be distracted, to put our phones away through the training today, when we're with our friends, with our loved ones, at our meals, how to create this connection. She said, if you are engaged and you are paying attention, the days will happen that you will make mistakes and you will make bad decisions. Kind of like the one I made last night to hit the delete button next to my video. Right? We're going to make mistakes. It's just part of living. It's how we react to that. That's when we get out our resiliency belt, put it on, and pull it tight. So stay engaged, pay attention, but also know that those moments are going to happen where you feel like it's 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward. All right, another question. Name one thing that you do for your health and or the health of a loved one. That could be a lot of things, right? Eating well, taking a bath, reading a book, dancing with your partner. Just write it down. Let me know, what are you doing to help your health? All right. How do we help our loved one? I have a story that's happening to me as we speak. It started 3 years ago when my husband, dear Wells, was starting to get ready for my daughter's wedding, our daughter's wedding, clearing some brush behind the house where the groomsmen were going to stay. It was March. They were creating this big bonfire, pulling things, piling it up. He was walking up at the end of the day, carrying the chainsaw. It was March, so some of the ground was clear and some was still icy. He slipped, and his knee came down onto an icy patch with the momentum of the chainsaw in his other hand. So you can imagine the impact. He said, "Oh, it'll get better. Oh, I'm not that old. It'll be all right. Just give it some time." So we went for years. It was 3 years, 2.5 years. And he finally realized, this is not getting better. Maybe I should have it looked at. So back in November, maybe, he got the scan and they said, "Oh, your knee is a mess. 2 torn meniscus, fractured tibia, and bone-on-bone arthritis." He's too young for a knee replacement, and I asked if I could tell the story, and he said yes. Too young for a knee replacement, so he had surgery, cleaned up the meniscus. The point is that it has changed our existence, right? We're not going out for hikes. We can't go for our bike rides. Just not going out. So if there was a summer to do it, this is it, right? Lots of things are curtailed through COVID. I want to make sure that we're noticing what's coming up. I encourage you to, if you have a situation like this in your life, to notice and to acknowledge the patient. Right? Wells gets up at 6 a.m., he's doing his PT before work, he does it after work, and then we do something in the evening. So he is working diligently, and I give him all the kudos for that. So appreciative that he's trying to move forward. It's also important for the caregiver to be noticed, right? Just give them a little extra love, a little TLC. It's give and take on both sides. One of my favorite people is Mr. Rogers, and his quote is, "Anything that's mentionable is manageable." So just mention it, because it's the elephant in the room. When you do that, there's like a lightness that appears, right? It's like, oh, somebody has actually seen me. Try that. It's helping your loved one and yourself. You become calmer, they become calmer, we create engagement. Use an oximeter to find your oxygen levels as well as your heart rate. I started using one when my sister was sick, and we got one here, and it's just great. It's good to have a baseline. So try that out. Get yourself an oximeter. It's just a way to, keep track of what's going on for you. All right. How do we do it when the conversation gets hard? These are the moments that, as the caregiver, we need to step up. I have a friend who told me that their spouse didn't want to wear their hearing aids. Right? It just brings up so many things. 25% of Americans, so in a room of 100 people, 25 of them have a disabling hearing loss. So they're not able to hear as well, which has a whole slippery slope of symptoms that can occur. Of those people who need hearing aids, only 30% of them ever use them, because it's an awareness that I'm not who I used to be. Well, somebody said compare it to glasses. I turned 40, I couldn't see the phone book, Mary gave me her glasses, I was like, oh, now I can see. It's just an acknowledgement of changes that are happening as we get older. We just have to pay attention to that. I have a friend whose dad is in a retirement home suffering from dementia. Right, hearing keeps us connected to one another. When we don't have our hearing aids, and she told me that through COVID, through the pandemic, she's not able to go into the nursing home to be his advocate, and somehow 2 pairs of hearing aids have been lost. So it's not only been affecting his dementia, it's also expensive, right? Really, very expensive for them. And a friend said that they're small, it's hard for the elders to put them in, it gives you a different sense of the room, the noise in the room. They're not the be-all and end-all, but at the same time, they can make all the difference, just like the glasses. If I can't see well, it changes everything. And there are huge family dynamics that go along with this. The person who has the hearing loss can say, I don't have a problem, because they just can't admit it to themselves. When that happens, they can blame it on the circumstances. They can say, oh, that person's mumbling, there's bad acoustics in the room, the TV's too low. What happens is that the person pulls back. They have a disengagement from family and friends. And this has a big toll on the family. When they sit at the table, the elders might stop telling stories or sharing in a conversation. Then there's this social distancing that happens, and it's just a downward slope of symptoms. They can start to be socially isolated, then they get depressed. There can be cognition loss, leading eventually to dementia. So if there's any hearing issues, please have it checked out. You don't want to wait 3 years like Wells. And I will post in the file section. So I should have mentioned it a long time ago. I created a workbook for today for all 3 days. So grab that. It's in the file section in my Array of Wellness Facebook group. Just look on the left. There's a whole list of options. The videos are there, as well as the files. And if you open up the files, I will have a workbook there that you can follow along with. At the end of the 3 days, you'll have a workbook on how to increase your memory, how to stay calm throughout the pandemic. So pay attention to that. We'll be talking about how to wear glasses as well as wearing hearing aids. And I'll post in the file section a website where you can do a hearing test in your home. You just need a phone. They'll ask you to change it to your right ear and then your left ear, and they'll be able to tell. You know, it's not like going to the doctor, but it's a good baseline. So check that out, try it out. Remind your loved one that we are imperfect and it is okay. All right, we're going to get up and do some movement because it's good to do that every half hour or so. And I'll just move this back just a little bit and this back. But have a chair next to you if you think you might need it. We will just be standing. You can have shoes on, and that's a good idea, especially with the last exercise. It's a lunge, or you can do it on a yoga mat. These exercises were designed by a person who is a basketball coach. So it focuses on the hamstrings and the quads, because in basketball there's a lot going on with the thighs and quick movements. When those muscles are warmed up, there's less chance of having an injury. So just stand with your feet together, or 6 inches apart, whichever you feel gives you more balance. Then, let me just check to see. Okay, so you can see me okay. Maybe I'll move you back just a little bit more so you can see more of me. All right. Yeah, just stand, and again, align the body. Shoulders back, down away from the ears. Engage through the stomach. Pull the belly button into the spine. Just feel that ripple effect through the body, heels up to the head, and head down to the heels. Just feels great. That's the start. We'll start with a knee hug, and these can be walking. So if you were to walk down the hallway in your room, in your house, you could just do one knee hug after another in a walking fashion, or you can do it stationary. So we'll just do it stationary today. And just weight into the right leg and lift the left leg up. You can interlace the fingers underneath the thigh and then stand tall. Engage the shoulders, neck. If you can, interlace the fingers underneath the knee. About 2 inches down. Then begin to bend the elbows. Focus on the right leg. Press it into the floor. Lift the left knee a little higher, closer to the chest. Feels great. It's like wind removing pose in yoga. Just brings energy and new blood into the torso. And hold each of these poses for 10 to 30 seconds or longer. And then down. Weight into the left leg, lift the right leg, hands under the thigh, press back or under the knee. Press and lift. Bend the elbows, come in. Engage through the left quadriceps, front of the thigh. Suck the stomach in. Stand tall. Crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And release. Awesome. Next is over the fence. So we're going to open up the hip girdle through the inner thighs. Just by weight into the right leg, lift the left leg, and rotate it out to the side. And we'll do 5 on one side. 2, 3. Feel that through the left inner thigh. 4. 1 more, and 5. Switch to the other side, weight into the left leg, lift the right. Out to the right side. Feel an openness in the inner thigh. Through the hips. 3, 4, and 5. If you were doing this walking, you would do one leg and then the other. One leg and the other. Awesome. Next is a Frankenstein march. Again, if you were walking, you would just do one foot in front of the other. So you bring your right leg up and your left hand to meet in at the top. And then left leg up, right hand, left leg, and back and forth. Do 10 of these. Extend through the fingertips and lift through the hamstrings in the back of the thighs. Feels great to just extend that. Not too far. Lift and lift and lift. I always suggest that people take pictures of themselves when they start something and then do it for a month and take another picture, because it can amaze you at how much you improve and the benefits that you get from it. We'll finish with a lunge. So weight into the left leg, bring the right leg forward. Just back this up a little bit more. Weight into the left leg, right leg forward, and we'll come down. Can't really see that. I have shorts on because it's almost 90 today in Montana, which doesn't happen very often. Weight into the left leg, right leg forward. Left heel is lifted, right knee is bent directly above the right ankle. So just stay here. You put your hands on your hips or on your chair. And you can allow the back leg to be straight and then slowly begin to bend it. Coming a little closer to the floor. Getting into the stretch a little more. Slowly come back up, straighten both legs, and bring the left leg forward, right leg back. Repeat on the other side. Slowly come down, making sure that the left knee is always above the left ankle. Never in front, because that just adds stress onto the knee, and we don't want that. Then slowly bend the back leg, coming a little closer to the floor, engage through the stomach, hip and ribs connect. Slowly come back up. Right leg forward. And then you would just do that in a walking fashion for as long as you wanted, if you were going to do it walking. I live just a couple of blocks away from a school. We have a great gravel track that I ride my bike on a lot, but I could just do all of these exercises, right? Nobody cares. Just get out there, do what you love, and do it as often as you can. Movement is critical to staying healthy. Move every day, change it up, do it with a friend, loved one, put your ear pods in if you need to, just to stay moving. overcoming inertia is often the hardest thing that we do, right? Getting out of bed in the morning, putting that first foot down on the floor. Ooh, that could be a big one. And the other one is pushing away from the dining room table. And then like closing the door in the kitchen. Those can be huge, right? You're just like, okay, I'm done. That's all I'm going to eat today. Now I'm going to go out for a walk after dinner or whatever. Use these activities, share them with your loved ones. Just, modify. If your aging elder is not able to do a lunge, just a slight bend of the knee. See how that feels. Just make sure they're holding on, make sure they're safe. Back to the topic of the day, how to take care of your health and the wellness of your aging loved one is to be a health correspondent, to be in conversation with the caregivers, either in the hospital, in an assisted living facility, near or far, or maybe they're at your home. You have people coming in to help take care. It's great to have a record. This allows you to remember what happened a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. To keep a record of medication changes so that you start to see, is this beneficial or is it not helping? Great to have a track of what's going on, right? Don't leave it just to the doctors to do that, because you can add your own insights, which the doctors aren't going to always notice. I have some suggestions on how to be a good health correspondent, and I will post these in the file section as well. Heather, remind me to do that. So when your loved ones may be coming into the hospital, get a diary or a journal. These are things that you've probably already done. Maybe you started it and just need this little extra reminder to get it back out. You can write down the names of the hospital team just to remember, who worked well with my loved one. This is huge, right? You don't have to keep your doctor. I'm not going to go into this, but, when my sister was dying, there was one doctor who was just insufferable, and we just said, I can't work with them, and they got us another one. So be a serious health advocate for your loved one. Write down the names of the hospital team members and the phone number of the ward that they're going to be on, so that if other people are trying to get in touch, they know where to call to find out where you are, where your loved one is. If you have any questions, just have a whole section just for questions that you can write down the answers to when you meet with the doctor. You don't have to ask them again because the answers are already there. It just keeps it organized. Everybody's busy, doctors are busy. To have everything in one place has a level of organization that everyone appreciates. Have that all together. Write down your own feelings. What's going on for you? What's coming up? Why is this working? Why isn't that working? You have to go somewhere. You need to call in some other people to help. That affects a lot. So just make a note of that. Not to send flowers or food into the hospital. It's nice to, send things to the nurses. I did Reiki at Dartmouth for years in the birthing pavilion and the birthing center. The food that was sent into them was just unbelievable. They said there's no way we can eat it all. And most of it was not that healthy. So save that. If you need help, extra help, you can reach out to your community. There are organizations that are in your town or pastoral care connected to churches, synagogues, mosques that can help if you just need to reach out to them, let them know that. There's a website called Caring Bridge. A friend of mine used it when her mom was in the hospital. It allowed her to be more focused on just her mom, not taking time to write to everybody who is trying to stay in touch. It's when my sister was in the hospital, I was sending texts to, big long text group of like 15 people. And it was great to get their support and their concern. It was also exhausting. Using that Caring Bridge, my friend was able to write what was happening to her mom, how she was doing. Then all of us who were concerned about her were able to just make a note when we had time, and then my friend could read it to her mom and let her know that everybody was thinking about her. So it just allows that just another level of organization. So again, when your loved one's coming into the hospital, right down the ward, my sister was admitted to the cardiac care ward, and we just became very close very quickly. It was a crisis situation. Good to know who was there. The phone number of the ward and the phone number of the bedside table. So just keep all those things in mind as you travel this journey that we're all on together for health and wellness. I'm going to go on to what's happening tomorrow, day 2. We're going to build brain strength and calm to help in our wellness maintenance. We're going to learn really important things like, where did I park my car? And day 3 is health plans for aging and more calm brain strength. I encourage you to, I'll have this in the Array Wellness coaching page. Please, there's a little button that says share. I would love it if you could share this with your friends, for people who might be going through something with an aging loved one. So please share it around, let other people know what's happening. I will be giving away prizes on day 2 and 3. We'll find out who was engaged today, and then be giving out the Feisty and Calm checklist or a Feisty and Calm breakthrough session with me. So stay tuned for that. Come back tomorrow. We'll see who won today. Wondering if it'll be you. I encourage you to stay to the end, so thank you for being here all the way to the end. And I encourage you not to multitask. We're going to find out why tomorrow, why it's not such a good idea to have a couple things going on at the same time. Turn off your phone. This is what our business coaches tell us all the time, and it makes a big difference, right? It's just like, okay, this is time for my coaching call. I'm just going to focus on that, get the most out of it that I possibly can. I am putting a stake in the ground for your health and your calmness, so stay engaged and we'll see what happens. The call to action today is the challenge that's going to be posted in the Array of Wellness Facebook group, so if you haven't joined that, please do. Just go to find the visit group button that's right on my Array of Wellness coaching page, and there'll be a little visit group button, and just click that. It'll take you to the group. You'll have to answer 3 questions, and then you'll be in. You'll have access to all of the videos that I've been doing. I started in March when the pandemic started, doing a pandemic survival guide series. So that will all be there. But today's challenge will be posted. There'll be a little colored post. I think it'll be purple. And it will say, what's one suggestion you learned today that you can incorporate into your and or your loved one's health strategy? Post your response and click on 2 or 3 others to see what they're saying. Give them a thumbs up, some hearts, a little love, and I'll be checking the person who answers the posts and those will be qualified for the prizes. Today we talked about how to keep our wellness at the top of our to-do list, as well as our loved ones. Remember, we are elders, a force to be reckoned with. I hope that you found some ideas and tips on how to move your goalposts towards your goals of wellness, how to be present to our needs as well as theirs, and what to do when our body parts start to falter. Right? What to do, how to have those hard conversations, how to embrace forms of assistance, and to see the effects, the beneficial effects that those might have on our family. Finally, to be the health correspondent, to keep that conversation going in your family with the medical team that you're dealing with and your loved one as well. Thank you so much for watching today. Be back tomorrow for day 2. Build brain strength and calm to help in our wellness maintenance. Learn ways to remember really important things like, what did she just say? Or what was that person's name that I just met? Tomorrow, Wednesday, no, that was today. Sorry. Just go look for day 2's video in the Array of Wellness Facebook group, talking all about brain strength. We'll be back tomorrow, the last day, day 3, to put that plan together and to work a little bit more on our brain. Be well until then. I will be holding your wellness as one of my goals to help you if that is what you would like. Let me know. Click on the link. There'll be a link to my Calendly page if you are interested in getting together to talk. All right, we'll talk tomorrow at noon Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern for day 3. It's really day 2, but it'll be day 3. All right, take care. Be well until then.